Welcome back to MFO, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. You know, we had such a mild fall, and I know I'm experiencing this or have experienced this with the guys that store their boats here in my barn. People weren't bringing their boats in. They were out fishing, and it got to the point where right around Thanksgiving, guys were going, "Hey, Mark, can I get my boat in there?" Because all of a sudden, boom, the weather changed. For us, it was literally Thanksgiving weekend, and we got dumped on with a lot of snow, and now December's starting with real cold temperatures and nothing looking like it's going to be above freezing for at least a couple of weeks. Did you get stuck with your boat? Maybe your boat's in your garage or something like that, or it's got a cover on it and it's got snow. Did you get stuck not taking care of all of those things you need to do before it's time for winter storage? If you store your boat inside but not in a heated garage, or if you store it outside under a cover or tarped up or something like that, you're going to want to pay attention. We're going to give you basically a checklist of all the things you need to do to make sure that your boat and your fishing equipment is going to be okay when things thaw out for us in the springtime. Stick around, guys. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. So let's go through this checklist. Make sure that you got everything if you got your boat kind of stuck with this winter weather that you can see out our back window. We'll talk first about live wells and the pumps. You got to make sure that those live wells are drained, and that includes the hoses and the pumps. What I like to do is drain those live wells out, keep those pumps running even after they're dry. Some guys will put an antifreeze in it. They'll use that pink RV antifreeze that's non-toxic. I don't like to put any kind of things in my live well that may end up hurting fish in the springtime. My biggest thing is, and again, I don't have this problem because I'm in a heated garage, but the biggest issue really is make sure you get the water out of those live wells, out of the hoses, out of the pumps, because obviously any water that's in them is going to freeze, expand, and crack those pumps, and that's going to be a big problem in the springtime. So number one, get the water out. As long as we're talking about water, that also includes your motor. Did you make sure that you trimmed your motor down, drained all of the water out of the engine so that that didn't have any water collecting in the lower unit? That's going to be a big problem for you also. Moving away from water and into other things that you want to take care of, your batteries. So there's two ways of dealing with batteries. One, I do this for the guys who store their boats in my barn. My barn is not heated. The garage part is here where my boat is, but the barn is not heated. A lot of the guys leave the batteries in, and what I do is I rotate charging those batteries. So this boat will be on a charger for 2 weeks or so, and then I'll take the cord off and attach it to the boat next to it, and that boat will be on a charger for a couple of weeks. And so if you leave the battery in the boat when you're in a cold situation, say a cold garage or something like that, but you have a trickle charger that you can kind of put on, take off for a little bit, put on, take off for a little bit, that should be fine. Now remember though, lithium batteries, they have different manufacturers of lithium batteries tell you that they should not be in, regardless of whether they're continually being charged or not, shouldn't be exposed to cold temperatures. In that situation, you want to make sure that you're taking those batteries out of that boat if your boat's going to be in an unheated garage. You need to make sure of that. That's different than your regular AGM batteries. So dealing with your batteries, however you do, whether you keep them on a charger, take them out, If you take them out, obviously put them into a warm area, but also you still need to, you don't just put them somewhere in a heated area and leave them. You still need to make sure that they are charged every once in a while so that you're keeping that charge up throughout the winter. I think one thing that people don't think about is that you need to make sure to turn your power off, especially if you're leaving your batteries in, because and you might actually need to pull the kill switch just to make sure that you're not draining any amount of juice from your battery if you leave your batteries in. So make sure you're taking care of all of those issues as well. As long as we're talking about electrical kinds of things, another issue to be aware of are your graphs. Just like lithium battery manufacturers say that those batteries shouldn't be kept in cold temperatures, check with your Humminbird or Lowrance manufacturer's guide, because there are some graph manufacturers that talk about the storing of your fish finders and your locators and what temperature those units should be at. I don't personally, and again, I keep talking about what I do. Mine's not an issue, but do you store your graphs, or are you worried about storing your graphs if you're going to be in below zero kinds of temperatures or below freezing types of temperatures? So check with that as well. Another issue to pay attention to, and we've done episodes on this, is your fuel stabilizer. Guys, if you missed the fuel stabilizer part and the weather crept up on you at this point, you're too late, okay? There isn't anything more taking fuel stabilizer and pouring it into your fuel, it'll help, but it's not gonna deal with the fuel that's in your carburetor, that's in your lines right now, because the fuel stabilizer only completely helps you when you've run that fuel stabilizer through the entire system. Right now, taking a bottle of fuel stabilizer when it's 30 degrees and your boat has snow on it and everything, and pouring that, all you're doing right there is taking the gasoline that has ethanol in it that's in your tank, and you are stabilizing that fuel. But the fuel that's in your fuel line, the fuel that's in your carburetor, your injectors, that does not, you have to run that stabilizer through in order for it to be 100% effective with everything. So you kind of missed the boat on that one if you didn't get that done. As far as your trailer goes, it's a good idea to fill the tires up. Remember, what you're going to notice is that your trailer tires are going to seem a little low, because in the cold, those oxygen molecules of the air that's in the tire are going to shrink, and your tires are going to go a little low. It's a good idea to fill them up in the winter time so that they maintain that rigidness and don't kind of get that flat spot on them while they're sitting for the winter. And finally, one of the things that I highly recommend, and you can still do this even though it might be cumbersome, is you need to get your tackle out of the boat. And there's two real big reasons for this. Number one is get all your tackle, get all your baits, all your rods, all your reels, all your equipment, quite honestly. And I'm talking about everything from life jackets to ropes to bait boxes to rods and reels. Get that out of your boat. Get that somewhere where it's warm and the climate is steady throughout the wintertime. And again, the reason for this is, number one, those changes in climate. Hey, it's freezing, and then all of a sudden it gets above freezing, and it gets warm for a week, and then it gets cold again. All of that stuff is going to create moisture, which is going to create rust, which is going to create mildew, which is going to create problems with all of that type of equipment, number one. And number two, if you've got it all out of your boat and you got it, say, in your basement or in your den or wherever it is that you keep it, now you've got something to do over the winter, and you can tinker with baits. You can check and make sure that, you kind of see what baits you need to replace, see what baits need cleaning up. Your rods and reels can get cleaned up and things like that. Leaving it in the boat over the winter is not a good idea. So you want to be able to get all that stuff out. Guys, these are just some of the checklists of things that I hope you did before you got stuck here with the weather. Maybe you're in a part of the country where you haven't gotten stuck yet, so you can do it. And maybe there were a few things on this list where even though you did get stuck, you got to run out there and take care of it at some point because it's too important to leave it go for the next 3 months. I hope this helps, guys. If so, I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button and join us every Monday through Friday on Mark Fisher Outdoors. We'd appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow on another episode. Take care, everybody.